I'm Doug Lawler, and you are watching Hammers and Jam.
Yeah, just take what you need, and you won't hear no slamming doors. We love Hammers and Jam!
Hello, folks. All right, today's project, we have a table here that we're going to recolor. All right, so it's been refinished before, and if you see, this is the original color here. And the homeowner would like it tinted. It's a beautiful table. It's absolutely gorgeous. But she wants this a little bit darker to match this. And you see the legs were stripped as well and redone, and they have some blonde areas in them. Especially like one over here. This is where we're going to do our color test. See that spot right there on that leg, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and let me set my camera down. And I'm gonna get some stain on a rag. And I've already done my color test. So this should be really close. So I'm gonna go ahead and just take a little bit on a rag like that, and I'm just gonna wipe it over this blonde spot here. Let's see how it takes. It looks pretty good. Now this is lacquer, so lacquer melts into lacquer, so you can't rub it too much. You know, so I think that color is going to be just fine to blend that in. Now, being that I have the color, I gotta, you know, all this will be matching in like that. So let's see how it'll all blend. So, being that we have the color, what I want to do is I don't want to wipe this whole thing. Wiping this whole table will actually be a disaster, especially on the top. So what you want to do is you want to spray it, and you don't want a heavy spray. You want to mist it, and you want to you don't want to try to do it all in one shot. You want to try to do it in layers, a little bit at a time, because as it dries, it darkens, and you want to just do a little and then check it and do a little more if it needs it. And then once the color's right, clear coat, and we're done. So I know I make it sound a lot easier than it actually is, but I've done this many, many times, and let's get to it. We want to tape off the color that we're keeping, which is right, you know, on this edge. We're keeping that color, so we are going to tape that off so it stays original. Doesn't get any darker. Just like that. So I just went all the way around the table with it, and I'll show you what I mean here. So it's a little big, so what I do is I fold it in like that all the way around, okay? And then just take my fingernail. Some spots I'll have to, you know, I'll have to work it a little bit, maybe put a little piece of tape in these little spots like that. And the spots that are sticking up like this, I'll take a razor knife and just cut that and peel it back. Get a razor knife real quick. Got that back like that. Take my razor knife and put it right tight in there, right? You don't want to press too hard because it's nice woodwork, you know. You don't want to put a big scratch all the way around it. But it is in the corner and the seam, so if it does scratch, it will color easily. Okay? And then just pull that out like that, and then just do that all the way around, a nice tape line, and I'll be able to color the top. That is a beautiful top, though. I wish she didn't want to color it, but I'm sure it'll be great in the way she wants it when we're done. So I'll be right back. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and show you real quick. I got my sprayer, and I'm just gonna lightly tint this, okay? We're gonna do one a little bit here and then look at it before we do the whole table. So, let me get started. where I hit real heavy down toward the bottom, I'm gonna stop and I'm gonna correct that before I go any further. And how I correct that is with some lacquer thinner, okay? I'm just gonna gently correct it. It'll lighten up a little bit. Okay? Drop off some of it, see how it, okay? You can't rub on it much because what it'll do is it gets down in the finish and you'll end up with a mess. Okay? But it was just that one spot that I thought was a little heavy. So you can see I got the paper peeled back a little bit here, and that color looks pretty darn good. Boy, it has a pretty top. So that was just the first coat. I had my camera off when I was spraying. I forgot to turn my camera on, but so I'm gonna let that dry and see what it looks like. I don't think I want to go much darker than that because it looks pretty darn good, but after it dries, we'll be able to tell. And then take another close look at it and see what I got to do from there. And it might be ready for clear coat. We'll see. I'll be right back. So I'm thinking that color looks pretty darn good, man. There's the original color right there. The new color together. I think that looks pretty good. That's as close as I think we're gonna get without getting too dark. Because the grain changes as it goes. There's a blonde spot there. The grain gets a little darker over here. I think we're good. So while you're, if you're shooting it down here, you're gonna get really heavy, it's gonna get really dark because the lacquer itself is darker than it appears. The more layers you put on it, it starts darkening. It's a pretty dark lacquer that I'm using. So you wanna come up pretty high and let it mist, let it get down and from up here. It looks weird, but that's my trick and it works very well. And you wanna do it in, a little bit at a time. You don't wanna just color or paint it like or shoot it like you're painting a car, because that's not how you do it. So, I'm happy with it. It's looking really nice. And then once that dries all the way, I'm going to clear coat it. But before I clear coat it, I learned this the hard way. I clear coated before, leaving the tape on. And what happens is that lacquer gets down on that tape and it melts that tape down onto the lacquer below it, and it ends up being a mess. Being that this is lacquer anyway, just go ahead and take that tape off and shoot the whole table in one shot and you'll have no problems. All right, be right back. And there we go. Finished product. It looks absolutely gorgeous. I know there's quite a bit of a shine from the sunlight. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? And that's how you tint the table.